All right, we are live, but I'm on my starting screen, so no one can hear us. I gotta change to my other account anyway, because I like to at least have one person watching. Oh, actually, everyone can hear me still. Hi, assholes. All right, so fuck it. Do you hear that? Well, actually, that was because I had my phone up on volume. Just give me a sec. I want to share this on all my platforms before. My screen good. Checking 1, 2, 3. Yep, I hear myself.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis.
Just want to make sure I can hear you too.
Over 20 meals under $12 at Cracker Barrel.
What the hell are you talking about, son?
Cracker Barrel.
All right, I hear you, so I don't give a damn. All right, everybody, what's going on? This is Goat Nation. I'm your host, Austin Fote, or otherwise known as Fote the Goat. We are here today because, drumroll please, the football season is back in town. What can I say? My host, you want to introduce yourself?
Pretty much, they call me Manfish. So call me Manfish.
Yes, we are here with Manfish. The hopes of this podcast is to do this live every Monday. For this episode, what my goal is to do is to basically go over the predictions of my college football and NFL thoughts for the season. Something fun I wanted to do for a while. I've never done college predictions, but I've done the NFL in the past. Been quite good at them. 2 years ago, I predicted the Rams to win, maybe because I was biased to Stafford, who knows. But about 2 weeks ago, I did my Big Ten, SEC, and NFL predictions. Those were just, I would probably call them rough drafts, but these are my 100% what I'm locked in with right now picks, and we're just going to go over all of them and kind of just see what Manfish thinks and what you guys think. So, Fish,
Get into it.
how updated on college football are you?
How updated in college football am I?
Yeah.
On a number basis of a scale 1 to 10,
Yeah, throw a number at me.
0.5.
At least you're honest. So, I'm a little more into the college football scene. Fish is very into the NFL scene, so he'll have a lot of insight on our NFL predictions. But for college football, I've started to get him into it a little more. So this will be a good entrance into college football, I think, for you. Maybe it'll help you kind of look at who I'm thinking should be good this season. So
We're learning. It's all that matters.
hell yeah, you are. But before we go into the predictions, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what we've been seeing in the NFL. I mean, two huge named players just got signed to two interesting teams. I kind of want to hear your take on it. I want to, start it off with Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, what are the Patriots thinking here, in your opinion?
I don't know what they're thinking. Honestly, I don't know what Zeke's thinking either. Like, Stevenson's already there. I mean, I guess Zeke as a filler, as like a 1-2 with Stevenson, maybe. I don't love that O-line. I mean, I guess they'll get a lot of reps because Mac Jones sucks. I don't know what the quarterback situation there is looking like. If it's going to be him, if it's going to be Zappy. Maybe they'll get a lot of reps. Who knows? But I think, I don't know, like, who was their running back to before Zeke?
So I threw up the depth chart because I was wondering too. I forgot it was Ty Montgomery. I was going to say Pierce Strong, but I forgot they just got Montgomery. So it's going to be Stevenson, Montgomery, Strong, and then whoever the hell they keep. But yeah, I don't actually understand what's going on with the Elliott move. I know that Belichick likes to have like 8 freaking running backs on staff, but excuse me, this was just an interesting pick. I mean, I was under the impression that Stevenson was just going to be the GOAT and that Montgomery and Strong were going to be like the 2-3 for them, but I mean, now that Elliott's there,
yeah,
I actually don't know what the plan is. Maybe it's just those two and everyone else is kind of irrelevant.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Elliott's really that good of a pass catcher, but maybe they throw him in a slot. I could see that possibly, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't make the team. I don't know. I think it's a terrible pickup. I think he's done. He needs to retire. That's my opinion.
That's a hot take right there. I think he's got stuff in the tank. For the pass catching, honestly, I think that's Montgomery's role. He's literally kind of like he's not like a Debo. I'm trying to think of a better analogy. He's a running back that can catch the ball, and that's what I thought was gonna happen. But maybe they're just beefing it up a little bit. Who knows? I mean, I still think Stevenson's number one, and I believe Elliott's just gonna be the change of pace guy at this point. I could see him hitting like 500 yards rushing this year, like a few touchdowns. I don't think he's gonna do that much more. Then who we're gonna go to next, I actually think he's gonna be a different situation. Dalvin Cook. Oh my goodness. I had one thought on this when I seen that he got signed to the Jets. What the hell is gonna happen to Breece Hall and Michael Carter?
Right. So I don't like. I love Dalvin Cook's a good running back. Don't get me wrong. I love him as a player. I love him as a running back and all these different situations that he's been in. But to the fucking Jets is insane. Like that old line is dog shit. It's fucking terrible.
They beefed that running back core up exponentially.
Right. I just don't know why they have. What did they sign him to? A 1-year deal?
Yeah, I think $8 million.
Okay, I guess it's not that bad then. I mean, I think they're really trying to make a push for the contend. I honestly think that's what they're doing.
I think they're going for a 1-year wonder. That's where what I'm kind of getting at this point. I mean, they just beefed the hell up out of this running back core. I think Dalvin Cook is nowhere near as washed up as Elliott is. Even if I wouldn't even consider Elliott washed up, but he's like getting to that point where he's probably going to be soon. But Dalvin Cook's not even close to that yet. I mean,
No, he's.
Let's be honest. He would have been the starting like dog still at the Vikings if money was better handled there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook is probably, besides maybe Aaron Jones, is a running back one anywhere in the NFC North. He's just that guy. He's good. He's really good.
Yeah, and I was a big fan on Breece Hall and Michael Carter, both of their rookie years.
Right.
I was like, oh, Michael Carter's gonna be a starter. Then we got Breece Hall. I was like, oh, Breece Hall's definitely the starter here. He had a great start to his campaign as a rookie, and then he got blown the hell out. So this year, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe they're gonna like take it easy on him a little bit with Michael Carter. Bam! Now they just signed Dalvin Cook. So I'm really confused on what the direction of this team is gonna go for running backs. I'm gonna have to assume Dalvin Cook's there just as a change of pace for Breece Hall while he's still recovering from that massive injury from last year.
That's my thought process. In the perspective of Breece Hall and Carter, like they can take a step back a little bit, not worry about taking as many reps, learn from one of the greatest, one of the best in the NFL right now, and just take a step back for a year, learn, see what they can teach, and go from there next year, long year, and maybe hopefully become the RB1 that we've seen glimpses of in the first season before we got injured.
Yeah, I agree. Hold up. I'm hoping I wasn't muted that whole time.
See what they can teach, and that would be terrible. Next year, long year, and maybe hopefully become the RB1 that we've seen glimpses of.
I think I was, but that's all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh no, I wasn't. I'm good.
Okay.
So, sorry about that. I'm new to this podcasting thing. So, yeah, I mean, I was gonna end that segment anyway. I mean, Dalvin Cook, I think he's in a better spot than Elliott, obviously, but I think that it's gonna be interesting seeing those two guys. I really don't have anything else other than that. I think Elliott and Dalvin are probably both gonna get adequate numbers. I really wish Dalvin Cook was in a different spot. There's a few other teams I would have liked him to have gone to, but I mean, obviously the Jets are trying to make a push for a Super Bowl year one, which, in all honesty, you could probably see it. I really could see it happening, something. But we'll talk about that when we get to the point. I don't want to dwell too much on this. So, we're going to move on to the college predictions, and let me just throw this out there again. This is my first time doing college predictions. I'm definitely excited, actually, to kind of talk more about college football because I've never really gotten into it. I got into college football about 5 years ago, and I've been kind of passively fanboy, but recently I've been very into college football, and I think I'm on a decent path right now. I do have some hot takes. You guys are going to be like, why the hell are you looking at this this way? But I promise you, just give me a sec. I'll explain my reasons, and we can look at the schedules, because for the most part, there's obviously always some games that could go either way, but I mean, I want to start off with the AAC. Let me pull up my image of it real quick. We're going to start off with the bottom half of the groups here. Here we go. There we go. That's a good spot. So, for the AAC, this is kind of where I've got the bottom half of the group at 8 to 12, or 8 to 14. I didn't know there was 14 teams in this conference. I actually forget about Virginia and Virginia Tech because they're so awful in my opinion, but this is where we're at right now. We got Duke at 6-6, Georgia Tech 5-7, and the reason why Georgia Tech's higher than Syracuse, I don't know if anyone peeped that, it's because of I have them in order of conference. So Georgia Tech has more conference wins than Syracuse, so that's why they're in ninth. But that's where I got those two at, and then pretty much everyone else is just fodder, in my opinion. Boston College, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Virginia. I do want to show one team's schedule that I was looking at. You guys got a sneak peek of my Big Ten, whatever, whoop-de-doo. So, we got Duke right here. Fish, you were saying that you're kind of a fan of Duke this year, weren't you?
No, I was a fan of Wake Forest. Their schedule
Oh,
is
okay.
terrible. I think they'll place like in top 8, maybe the
Who is
8th, 9th spot.
this? Get off my screen, woman. But for me, at least, Duke has some easy games and they have some mid games. Um, I don't really see anything going differently here for Duke. Maybe they beat NC State at home. It's probably the only thing I see that could be changed. But other than that, I think that's a solid 6-6 team right there. Oh, that's the wrong image. But what do you think of this conference? Like, do you think I'm on kind of a right path here with these bottom feeders of the AAC?
Um, I, I don't know because I don't know how good. I think Wake Forest will be better. I think you're right about Virginia. There's too many question marks, and I don't know if they even have a fucking quarterback. I think Syracuse might be a little high. Here, I'll just read you off what my predictions I got from YouTube said, and he explained it pretty well, so I thought it was interesting. So, 8-14 was Georgia Tech at 4-4 in the conference, Wake Forest at 3-5 in the conference, NC State at 3-5 in the conference, Boston College at 2-6 in the conference, Syracuse at 2-6 in the conference, and Virginia 1-7 in the conference.
Okay. I feel like I'm kind of similar to that.
Right.
I have,
Yeah, you are.
What do I
So,
got,
like,
Wake Forest? 2-6 conference. Yeah.
I don't know shit about college. I know a little bit here and there. So, like, and I definitely don't know shit about the ACC.
Pick six Packers, go Cougs. Okay. Fish is like, who the hell? But yeah, for the most part, I mean, I'm not gonna talk too much on these teams. Yeah, Wake Forest maybe could do a little better. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I look at a college team and I don't know the starting quarterback, that already starts to bother me a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you what, I don't even know who Mitch Griffs is. I've probably looked him up before. Yeah, see, he's not even a transfer either. So yeah, I'm gonna just move on from this section because we don't need to keep too much talk on them because I want to talk about these guys here. So
Yeah.
I got a little bit of a hot take. I think Clemson's going to go undefeated, and I think FSU's only loss will be to Clemson.
Wow.
I think my reasoning here is Clemson's been a good team. I mean, last year the reason why they sucked, in my opinion, was DJ. That guy was like their cancer, and he was the quarterback. And I'm glad they got rid of him. And now they're going to be using Cade Klubnik, something like that. He is definitely going to be the star of their team. I could see it. I could see him turning this program around. Usually, I don't rate teams this high that have brand new quarterbacks starting for the year. I usually don't like, their situation, kind of like a few teams we'll talk about later, but for the most part, Clemson's got a solid team, and same with FSU. I just don't see them. It's really between the two of them, in my opinion, who will go undefeated, and I just don't think FSU's got it in the tank.
Nah, like what you said about Cade, I think in a couple, like towards the middle of the season, we're really gonna start talking about Cade.
Yeah.
About, him with the Heisman. I think he's gonna be really good there.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Louisville and Miami will, be around 6 and 7. They're pretty mid in this conference. NC State, maybe I have a little too high, but I like. I don't want to say the wrong name. I think it's Devin Leary, or he moved from there. It was one of those two. Hold on. Oh, it's Brennan Armstrong. He's the. He came from an Is that Virginia? I think it's the Virginia quarterback. Anyway, Armstrong, I know who he is. I like him going to NC State. That's where I'm getting at. I think he's going to be a nice fit for that team. NC State's not that bad of a program either. I don't think they've had the best of luck with this conference, and I think I think they have some good age there as well. I was looking at the depth charts when I was looking at this. They have like older guys who've been playing more, so I really like their positioning here. Let's look at their schedule actually. Yeah, they play Notre Dame. That's going to be an aggressive L. North Carolina, I have beating them at home away, and then I have Clemson obviously beating them. But for the most part, their like matchups aren't that hard. So I can definitely see NC State going 9-3. And then you got Pittsburgh at 9-3. Pittsburgh it's a nice program obviously, and NC State. Or not NC State, North Carolina. This is actually a little more of a reach, I would say, 10-2. Let's look at their schedule actually. So there were some interesting games that I thought could be a little different. Obviously, the final game of the season can be different. I think if anyone, an upset could be South Carolina and Miami away. But other than that, realistically, if Drake May kind of just balls out again, I realistically see North Carolina doing well this season. Let's be honest. In college, a quarterback can be a lot of the difference in the offense.
Right. Right.
I even think you could agree with that because, I mean, anyone can look in college football and we can just go back in time. Like Lamar Jackson for goddamn Louisville was the reason they were even followed. Like there's plenty of reasons. We can go way back with Manziel for A&M. Like that team was not a positive record team without that guy. So
the same thing with Drake May. I think towards the end of the season where we talk about him for Heisman as well. Or like Drake, Cade, and JJ. Honestly, that's what I'm thinking. Unless that one kid from Ohio State shows up and
interesting. Pick six pack. Armstrong is Virginia. Yeah, I knew it was some orange team. I just couldn't remember it off the top of my head. But Armstrong has a cannon. Needs some accuracy help for real. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting setup there. I like Armstrong though. I think he's got a nice spot he just went to. But yeah, for the AAC at least, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Or ACC. God, I keep saying the wrong thing, don't I? I'm curious on what the over-unders are. All right, so here's some FSU at 10. Wow. Okay. That's huge. I probably would stay away from that one. Clemson at 9.5. I think that's an easy over.
Yeah, I'm snacking over on that.
I probably won't touch Boston College. They're either going to have 5 or 6 wins this year. I don't like any of those Virginia ones. Wake Forest, I probably won't touch that either. I could see them getting 5 or 6. I try to stay away from the over-unders that I think are like 0.5 away from. Like if I see them winning 1.5 more than their prediction, then I can see an over or under. But like for example, NC State, I think that would be something I would hammer the over on. Georgia Tech at 4. That's interesting. And for the most part, I probably wouldn't touch a lot of these. I'd probably only take overs on the few that I mentioned. I'd probably do the under on Syracuse, honestly. I don't see them winning anything more than 6. But, yeah, those would probably be my top ones right there. The Clemson over, the NC State over, and the, what was the one I just said? Syracuse under. Those are probably like my favorites. Got anything to add to that ACC before I move on?
No, I do not.
All right, let's move on to our next one. Oh, picked six pack. The boy FSU 10 is wild. That's what I was saying, man. I actually have no idea why it's that high, but Big 12 now. All right, so this is the Big 12. Let me put that more in the middle here. All right, so 8 through 14, we got UCF, Baylor, West Virginia, Iowa State, OSU, Cincinnati, and Houston. Again, none of these teams I really like at all this season. Again, if you see a team's record that's lower than a team that had a higher one, that's mostly because of conference wins. So, for example, West Virginia at 4-8 is at 10th, and OSU's at 5-7 at 12th. That's because I don't think OSU will win a single conference game this year. So they're just under everyone that has at least one win. But for the most part, these teams are kind of just the bottom feeders. The only team I think could pop off a little more would be UCF, but everyone else is kind of just struggling. Baylor's just the middle of the pack team at the moment, and honestly, Cincinnati could be a little more productive this season. But again, they just moved up. Don't show Finger is Finger a Oklahoma State fan? That's funny.
Yeah, these teams are just the definition of mid here. Mid and shit, honestly.
Damn, mid and shit.
Like, there's not really much we could talk about them. Like, there's nothing really to talk about. It's just they have question marks all their roster and.
Oh, so this is why I do not like Oklahoma State at all. They have Alan Bowman at quarterback, and anyone who's been following who he is, I'm pretty sure he came from Texas Tech. It was like something. Actually, I can click on him and it'll show it. Yeah, Texas Tech. He went from starting at Texas Tech to becoming the backup at Michigan, and did nothing, obviously. And now he's transferring to Oklahoma State to be at least contend for the starting position, because I don't think Allen is specifically the starter there yet. It's just on this depth chart. But for the most part, I'm very, very skeptical on this team right now. I do not like it at all. And like I said, the only other team I kind of like is Cincinnati. They have Emory Jones. He's kind of a lightning bolt right there. He was in Arizona State, right? Yeah, he was an Arizona State quarterback. He was also a Gator. You guys don't see my Florida Gators thing on the wall, but go Gators. Anyway, yeah, for the most part, all these teams are kind of bottom feeding. Only way I see Cincinnati doing well is if Emory Jones connects with all these transfers. But for the most part, whereas Cincinnati's, they also have some kind of tougher games this season. So yeah, you guys, we're good on this one. But this is where stuff starts getting a little interesting, so bear with me. We got... Hold on, come on. There we go. We got Texas and Oklahoma at 11-1, Kansas at 10-2, and then, in my opinion, just the remaining people: Kansas State, TCU, Texas Tech, and BYU. That's kind of where I got everything at. You got any thoughts on the Big 10 or Big 12 here?
Well, I want to know what Bruce thinks about BYU being at 7. He's probably gonna be upset about that, but maybe not.
He's going go Cougars top 5.
Top 5. Oh my gosh.
That's what he's. I'm assuming he's saying top 5 on the conference this year.
Why is like I said, you always don't know anything about college. Why did TCU drop so much? Why are they going to be bad this year? They lose a lot of guys.
So give me a sec. I was moving on to BYU. So why I think BYU is going to be pretty decent this year is because of Caden Slavis. Yeah, he's kind of bounced around from team to team, but this kid, he's definitely good. He just hasn't stuck on a program yet, and I think BYU is in a good spot right now. Usually BYU has like good quarterback talent, so I think that'll be good. But back to what you were just saying, why I think TCU kind of drops a little bit. First off, like something I said a little earlier, I'm not a big fan of first-year quarterbacks on teams. For the most part, bro knows ball. I love you. I love it. So Chandler Morris, first off, I don't even know who he is. So that's already my bad interception on this guy. It said he went from Oklahoma, so I'm assuming he's a good quarterback if he's going to Oklahoma. I don't know if he's ever played anything. I know that TCU has just lost probably half their damn starters from last season. I mean, Max Duggan made that team in my opinion, and I think TCU kind of falls a little bit. That's just where I'm at. I mean, we can even look at their schedule. I mean, the losses I got for them are kind of like you kind of could see it happening. You know what I mean? Like Oklahoma, Texas, Texas Tech. And I don't know why it's not showing the fourth loss. Oh, Kansas State's the same goddamn color. So, I mean, I think TCU is a good program. They just won't, in my opinion, be all the way up there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I was just curious on what your thoughts were.
I mean, if anything, the one that should be making you go, what the hell is wrong with Fote, is my Kansas at 10-2. You'll see a few biased people on here, like teams on here, and Kansas is arguably one of the most biased thoughts of this season. Anyone can argue me with Kansas, and I'll just immediately shut them down with how biased I am with the season, but I think Jalen Daniels there is going to be a hot commodity. That's just kind of my thing, though. I love this kid. This kid's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch this season. He got injured last year, and they were 6-0, I want to say, which Kansas is not a football school, so you never see them go 6-0. And they were already 6-0, you know what I mean? So we can even look at their depth chart here a little more. Yeah, see, and they even have Devin Neal, who was actually somebody I was looking for one of my agencies I was working with back in the day. But, I think this team's pretty solid. They have all these old heads on defense, which means they've been playing for a minute, and they have all these old heads on their offense. So that right there already is an indicator that they've been together for a minute. And the fact that Jalen Daniels is actually legit makes me think they're going to go 10-2. This is probably one of my biggest overs because if I'm right, I think their over-under's 6. That's a big jump, wouldn't you say?
That would be a big over to hit. That'd be awesome.
Let me look right now. Yeah, see, Kansas at 6.5. My God, that's just so weird to see, in my opinion. The first 4 games they play should be easy wins. I wouldn't say BYU is an easy win, but with most of the other teams they play, that's an easier win for them. I mean, they're not going to go to Texas and beat them in Texas. That just won't happen. But for the most part, they should defeat UCF. They should defeat Oklahoma State on the road. Oklahoma is going to be a tough game for them at home. I like Oklahoma a lot, and I'll tell you in a sec why. But for the rest of the games, they're kind of just mid opponents other than Kansas State. So I think Kansas pulls 10-2 here.
That'd be insane.
Oh, yeah. But I'll throw this in here now. Texas and Oklahoma. Texas, the only team I see them losing to is Alabama. And let's be honest, I actually think Texas could beat Bama. But I'm just going to give Bama the win because I think they're at home, and I think they'll play better ball at home. If this was at Texas, I'd actually think Texas would win. For the most part, Texas should walk this conference. And that's really weird to say because Texas has not been good for the past decade. But I mean this team is actually legit right now. going back into times where Texas and Michigan actually were leading the goddamn country for once. But yeah, I even have Texas beating Oklahoma away. That's probably going to be the big decider because I think Oklahoma beats everybody else easily. I mean, I don't see a single team that could beat Oklahoma. Maybe Kansas, like I said, but they really have to step their shit up. But for the most part, Oklahoma, like, it's really between Texas and Oklahoma. If Texas beats Oklahoma, they're going to be the top dog. If Texas beats Oklahoma, they'll be top dog. That's literally where we're at, in my opinion. Is there any other thoughts for Big 10 or Big 12?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with these guys. Sadly, I don't see any of them making playoffs unless one of them go 12-0, though. But that's for later.
All right.
Let's hit with my Big 10. I've been waiting patiently for the Big 10. So here's my Big 10, and we're going by conference, so this is the first side. Let me move this up a little bit. Here we go. So usually, honestly, in my opinion, this is a little bit of an exaggeration because we don't normally see teams on this side do as well as I have Wisconsin, let's say, but let's be honest, Wisconsin is a better team than they've usually been, and I really like their quarterback. Like, I've been following this quarterback there since SMU had him, like, years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's. Let me just make sure I didn't just mess him up with another team. No, I'm right. Tanner Mordecai. This kid has a goddamn laser in his fucking body. I swear to God, he's a goddamn robot. But I'll start at the bottom. Northwestern. Not a fan at all of Northwestern. I mean, Jesus Christ, just looking back at this team's program, it's been awful. I mean, I actually originally had them at like 4-8, but I can't even give them that anymore. I just can't do it.
What's the deal with Iowa and Cade McNamara? Didn't he get hurt?
Did he?
I thought he got hurt.
To my knowledge, I think Cade McNamara is fine. I can look it up. I mean, I don't see anything on him being injured.
Seen an article the other day. Must have not been serious.
Oh, not alarmed after Cade McNamara's injury at Kids Day.
Okay.
It's not like, oh boy, his leg is broke. Yeah, so he's fine.
Good.
Interesting. I didn't even know about that. But for the most part, I mean, there's the four teams that don't mean anything here is obviously Purdue, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, and Northwestern. Illinois, actually, people have Illinois and Minnesota doing better than Nebraska and Purdue. But in my opinion, I don't see anybody at Illinois doing good this year. I really just don't. I don't think this team has the it factor. And then Minnesota, I mean, this is a big one because they probably will win 6 or 7 games this year, but I have no faith in that offense. I just don't. I don't see them doing better.
Is the Illinois defense still going to be like a top 5 defense in the country? Or do they lose a lot? I know they've been producing. Their secondary's been like really strong the last couple of years.
No, Illinois' defense is good. That's a good group right here. My problem is that offense is so weird that I don't even know if they'll be able to put up points for them.
Who's their quarterback?
Luke Altmaier from Mississippi.
Never heard of him.
And that's where I'm at. I mean, he's probably a really good quarterback. The problem is I don't think he's started yet.
Okay.
And again, I'm not big on quarterbacks that don't play, as a starter yet. So I have Illinois down lower. Next year I could see Illinois being way better, but for now I just think they kind of lose. I mean, they'll probably get 6 wins. Like, both these teams will probably get 6 wins. If anything, Purdue will do worse. I think it's Hudson Card who was at Purdue. I really like Hudson Card. I mean, I don't think he really got his chance at Texas. I mean, when Quinn Ewers comes there, it's really hard to do better than that hype. But anything that should alarm you, it should be Nebraska at 9-3. I'm a big Nebraska follower right now. This will probably be my biased opinion that proves me wrong throughout the season. But Nebraska, I think, could do really well this season with Jeff Sims. This team is definitely not fit to be a 9-3 team, but I think they could be. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. This is like a very biased pick from me, but for the most part, I think this looks pretty straight. I'd probably assume you think this is pretty same for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to being Wisconsin, Iowa at the top, so
Yeah.
Nebraska up high. I mean, just gonna take your word for it. Purdue's usually higher for me, but like, well, Minnesota was good last year, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And that's what I was saying. I could see 3 and 4 swapping with 5 and 6. It's just I'm not gonna hold my head over it too much because, in all honesty, none of those teams are gonna matter.
Right.
But I definitely see Wisconsin and Iowa battling for that first spot, even if it's 9-3 or 10-2 each. I can see them fighting for that first spot. I think it's Wisconsin though. I actually think Wisconsin is better than they usually are right now. But I'm about to throw an insane take on you guys on the other side of this board, so be prepared.
Oh no. Is that Penn State? Oh no.
So
That should be fun.
I won't lie, I'm insanely biased on this one again, but I think there's people out there that also fear the same thing as I do. And the fear is that Penn State's actually, for the first time in a long time, legit. I think Penn State could actually beat Ohio State. That's where I'm at.
Wow.
And I'm actually fearful that they might do damage to Michigan as well. But again, I'm insanely biased with Michigan. Go Blue, but let me break down the bottom feeders first. So Rutgers, I mean, I'm not going to even waste my time. And Indiana, I'm not going to waste my time either. But MSU, I'm sorry for my state fans out there. I just don't understand how they're even going to do good this year. They just they're an array right now, man. They need help. I think this is going to be their bad year, if anything. Maryland, I mean, they get to fucking play 3 free games this season and then 3 free more ones. So, I mean, Maryland already has 6 wins guaranteed. And then they get to play goddamn Northwestern on the other side and Illinois. So, I mean, Maryland should, I think their over-under was like 6. This should be the easiest over you'll see in college football. Maryland's not a pushover team. They're a pretty decent team. They literally have Tua's brother playing for like the 3rd season now. And if
Right.
I mean Maryland's got an easy schedule if you don't count the 3 gauntlet games that they have to play, but other than that, I mean the team could most likely go 9-3. Like I have Nebraska beating them, but they could go 9-3 easily in my opinion. Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, with those easy, I mean, they have a lot of gimme games. So like, I've seen that they played what was it, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan towards the end of the season, all in a row. That's gonna be tough, but like,
Yeah.
they should come out after that Michigan game, get up against Rutgers.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, but yeah, man, I know that Ohio State's at home for Penn. Usually that should mean Ohio State will win. And I know that Ohio State's like being predicted to make the goddamn playoffs even more than Michigan this year, but I've always been like this with this thought, and if your quarterback is not known by literally game 1, I fear for your season, and that's kind of where I'm at with Ohio State.
Right.
They literally still don't know who's going to start at quarterback, and I don't care if you're a goddamn Ohio State stan and you're going, Kyle McCord's our starter. I already know that. Well, I'm not. I hate to break it to you, but they're actually considering Devin Brown still. So if they have no idea who their starting quarterback is, that's where I'm sitting going, who's going to throw it to this best receiving core in the goddamn nation?
I heard they were splitting reps, but
I'm not a fan of that either. There needs to be one guy there. Bloop. But I'm not going to say Ohio State's not a top 5 team in the nation. I just think Penn State might upset them. That's where I'm at. I don't think Penn State's the better team. I just think this team has probably the second or third best defense in the goddamn nation. And I also think this team with Drew Allaire, probably the best running back in the goddamn game. I think those two will just absolutely murder teams this season. I'm really big on Drew Allaire. We'll see, man. I mean, Michigan, in my opinion, should easily walk this one out, except Ohio State. I mean, I'll give you guys Ohio State. But,
I think our game to be concerned about is at Penn State, because I think it's their whiteout game, too. It's going to be loud as shit in there.
Yes. That's why I'm afraid of Penn State. Those are my 2 games I would extremely be standing up the whole game. Penn State, I think we have a better chance at Penn State than Ohio State, but the Ohio State game, we should win at home.
Yeah, I think we'll blow Ohio State again this year, but the Penn State, I think it's going to be a close one, like a 17-13 game, something like that.
But yeah, those are where I'm at. I do want to look at the over-under for this. I didn't really do the Big 12 over-unders, but when I was looking at them, I didn't really want to take any of these. I mean, Texas should be easy over, but goddamn, they're Texas, man. Who fucking knows? Probably the only team I would take out of any of these is Kansas over. I'm sorry, but that would probably be the only one I'd take. But Big 10, I had some noise on this. I made a TikTok on this already, and I'm still taking the ones I'm looking at. Where the hell is the over-unders on this? It's not that. I think it's this. Okay, yeah, here. I don't like Indiana. I don't like touching any of those little ones this year. I think I had Wisconsin over, and then I said literally the Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan ones should all be easy overs. Ohio State is probably the only one I might fear to touch out of those 3, but I would, if I were a betting man, which I am, Michigan, Penn State, and Wisconsin, I'm definitely seeking the overs on this season. I mean, Michigan literally would have to lose 2 games to not get that over, and I mean, I see them winning both. I see them winning every game. There's only 2 games that are going to be difficult for them, and I know they'll at least pull one of them off. But other than that, Iowa could be a nice over. Maryland could be a nice over. Minnesota, I see under, and same with Illinois, I see under. But yeah, I have a lot of opinions on the Big Ten just because I've been watching them the most. But do you see any that you have your eye on?
Pretty much the same thing you did. That's probably the best bet. Real safe, in my opinion, yeah, as well.
Yeah, and I won't touch this Michigan State number because I could be wrong. They could get 6.
What's
but
Minnesota at?
6.5.
That might be a decent over to take. I don't know.
Interesting. I got the under on that for sure. But let's move on to our next conference. We'll breeze through these next ones. We got the Pac-12. This is where, I'm going to be honest, I don't watch too much Pac-12. I only know the top dogs in the Pac-12, so bear with me on these. I think I'm pretty spot on still, but I mean, Stanford and Cal, I don't see them doing good at all. Arizona State could maybe do a little better, but I don't see them doing that well. Colorado, I'm sorry, but I'm just not on the hype. I think next year will be their year. I find it very hard for them to be really good when everyone on their goddamn coach, like, where I'm getting at is their coaching staff's, their head coach is goddamn hurt, for crying out loud. The dude might lose his leg. I assume he's not at practice as much as he wants to be. Maybe he is. I'm just speculating. I mean, that whole team is full of transfers, so I find it very hard for them to be a together unit at the moment. But Washington State and Arizona, I see them being just mid. And we're not going to talk too much on them. You got any thoughts on these 6?
I do not know.
Let's move on to my top 6. So I actually think these 6 teams are pretty good. I like UCLA. They're pretty good. Oregon State's probably my big what if. I could see them doing really good this season. That DJ guy I was kind of talking about, I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. He just wasn't good for Clemson. I think he now knows that he sucked so bad at Clemson that he has to get his crap together. And I think Oregon State will be the perfect spot for him to do that. And then we have the 4 teams that I think obviously will be the contending 4 teams for this conference. Oregon and Utah at 10-2, and then Washington and USC at 11-1. Now, Oregon, I'm an insanely big Bo Nix fan. I just find it hard. Who are the 2 teams I got them losing to? They play Washington and Utah away, and those are the 2 games where I'm just like, man, they'll have to blow away Washington, because if I'm not mistaken, Washington barely beat Oregon last season, and Utah has Cam Rising, who is gonna be like the GOAT of Utah this season. So, I mean, Oregon could most definitely beat one of those 2 teams. I don't see them beating both, but Oregon could have a good season this season. We'll have to see. But Utah, I think I have them losing to the same exact. Yeah, so Washington and USC I have losing or beating Utah. I just think Washington and USC are going to be the top 2 teams this year. And then, who do I have losing to USC? If we'll ever load. Here we go. Yeah, so I have Oregon beating USC at home. I think that'll be their one loss of the year. And if they don't lose to Oregon, I think USC goes undefeated and goes to the college playoffs. That's kind of where I'm at with this division or this conference.
They're pretty stacked over there.
They are. There's some good ass football going on in Pac-12. It's too bad that the division is just, or the conference is absolutely ass for money. It's just very unfortunate for them.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, let's take a look at some of these over-unders. I don't actually think I looked at them, so this will be first time looking at these. All right. So, yeah, I don't like any of those first ones. Irish winning the Natty. Hell yeah, Hunter. I'm sure you just woke up from your dream on that one. So, Washington. Yeah, so some of these are interesting. I mean, the reason why some of these are like lower than 10 in my opinion is because they play each other, and all these teams are so goddamn stacked. We really don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, Washington's a tough over for me. It's a very tough one. I think they can do it, but Utah I could see doing the over quite easily. USC should do the over. I think USC is going to make playoffs, but Other than that, I wouldn't touch any of these other teams because I have no idea on these other ones. They're very risky. I mean, crying out loud, you might even do the under on Oregon. But, yeah, that's kind of just where I'm at with these Pac-12 teams. I mean, we'll see what happens. I like this setup here. In my dreams, I'd like to see Washington take over first, but they'd have to beat USC, so we'll see on that one. But we got our last one, the SEC. Let me pull this up. So yeah, this is one of the two sides of the SEC. Oh, sorry, Auburn, I'm hiding you because you're so bad. So yeah, this is an insanely hot take on my part. I get it. I have Bama going 10-2. We'll get to them in a second. But those bottom four teams, I mean, you can barely see the Texas A&M one, but they're fourth. They're at 7-5. I just realized it's like blended in. You got Arkansas at 7-5. You got Mississippi State at 6-6, and you got Auburn at 5-7. What the hell's going on back here? Oh. But yeah, I got those teams are kind of relevant. They all just keep losing to those top three teams and then beat each other up. Let me go to the SEC to show you what I got. So here we got Bama. I have the 2 wins for them, the away games. I actually originally had Alabama beating every team except Kentucky, which was kind of funny. But I relooked at everything, and I remembered Kentucky wasn't as good as they were with Will Levis, so I immediately disbanded that. And I just was doing a lot of looking up stuff and everything, and I find it hard to believe Alabama's how good they used to be. I don't know about you, but I really don't believe Bama is like the old Bama right now.
They just lost like half their recruits to Colorado, didn't they?
I mean, let's just go to their depth chart real quick. They're in a similar position with Ohio State, in my opinion. They're very like trying to figure out who's going to be their like to-go guy. I mean, their defense is nice, so I give them that. But like for example, Jalen Milroe, he's never even started, and the backup is Tyler Buchner, who was from Notre Dame and literally didn't do anything. So I mean, this team probably does go 12-0. But I find it so hard to grasp that this team has it made already. You know what I mean? I think LSU and Ole Miss are really, really good right now, and I think they both could win. But I'm very aware that it should be Ole Miss and LSU that loses. And I think I have, Ole Miss losing to Georgia, which that sucks for Ole Miss that they have to play Georgia. But yeah, so I'm really high on Jackson Dart. That's who's the starter right now. Actually, this is funny. I didn't even know that Spencer Sanders was the backup there. He came from Oklahoma State. So that's an interesting one. That's actually so funny. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this team. I'm really flexing on the Jackson Dart push. And then the LSU push as well. I think LSU's really solid right now. They should do really good. Yeah, that's a nice stacked lineup right there. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for this side of the SEC. You got any thoughts before I move on to the other?
No.
I don't know why that went away. But yeah, this side of the spectrum, where did it just go? Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail this side because I'm sure everyone can agree with what I'm throwing out there. Vanderbilt, Missouri, Florida, they're just kind of irrelevant. Kentucky, I think, will do a little better than they're supposed to. I think this is where Devin Leary actually went. And then Tennessee, I think, is a little too overhyped, but we'll see what happens. And I actually think with South Carolina, I actually think Rattler will do better this year. It really depends who we get, but Georgia should go 12-0. I mean, I really don't want them to, but it's really hard to say they'll lose to any of the teams they're playing when they have like one of the weakest schedules I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally, look at this team, this fucking lineup. Literally, the only team that might beat them is Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They play UT Martin, Ball State, UAB, Auburn, Vanderbilt, Florida, Georgia Tech, Missouri. Like, come on, man. They literally play every bad team in the SEC. God, it just irks fucking grinds my gears. But yeah, we'll have to see it. I see Georgia making playoffs easily, but SEC. Yeah, they even got Georgia at 11.5. Vegas literally is planning on Georgia winning every game, so that's just pathetic. South Carolina at 6.5 is insane to me. They literally won 8 games last year and didn't lose a crack of shit. And then you got LSU at 9.5. That's a popular number. I would say they're over. Yeah, Alabama being at 10-5 is a good number because I could see them winning 11 games this season, but I have them at 10 just because I'm biased. Other than that, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of any of these other ones. I'm very, very biased on the Ole Miss train, so bear with me that I had them at 11-1. I think they'll lose more than that, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with college football. So those are my predictions, at least for college ball. Let's move on to the NFL now, because we just spent a good 40 minutes on college ball. Now,
yeah, I mean, takes were good, and you had evidence to back them up, so can't hate on it.
So, what side of the NFL do you want to start with? AFC or the NFC?
AFC.
All right.
AFC.
All right. So let's head into the AFC East. So this is where we're gonna have a little more discussion. Fish is definitely more updated on the NFL.
Indeed, I am.
Let's just start from the bottom up. I don't think anyone else will disagree with me that Patriots will be the 4th team this year.
Patriots have a lot to figure out. I mean, they have question marks at quarterback still. We don't know what their guys are. They have question marks at the wide receiver room. They have question marks in the defensive line, corners. Like, teams in shambles. They need to rebuild faster. Like, it's been a couple of years now.
So I'm not actually thinking they'll be insanely bad this year. I could see them winning 6 games. The only problem is they got to figure that offense out, man. I mean, that defense used to be just good every year, and now we've obviously seen since Tom Brady's departure, it's just been a goddamn shit show. So,
right.
Hold on. Where the hell? Alright, I'll show that later. So, I have Miami at 3. I mean, I think the difference between Miami and the Jets will be literally a game, but for the sake of my graphic, we have Miami at 3. I think this defense is pretty decent. I think that this offense is more than decent, but just not amazing. I mean, you got probably the best, arguably the fastest. I just messed that all up. You have the arguably is one of the best receivers in the game. My only thing has always been that Tua guy there. I mean, I love Tua. He's just a goddamn like straw that's ready to get fucking smacked in half. What do you think of Miami?
That's exactly what it comes down to. If Tua stays healthy, this is a 12-13 win team easily. Like, this team is stacked. This team is good. They have Waddle. They have
Mm-hmm.
Hill. Like, they're super fast. They're super quick. Tua's not a bad quarterback whatsoever. Their defense, they picked up Ramsey. He got injured. He's out for the season. Something like
That
that,
pissed me off. Yeah.
or something like that. That sucked. They didn't address the running back issue, which is also kind of weird and annoying. So I mean, as 3 in the division is a good spot for them, but they still should be like a 9-10 win team.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with that. I mean, the only running back they've gotten was that Devon Anche guy. I think he came from Tulane. No, he was the Texas A&M guy. Yeah, I don't think he'll be a starter there, but yeah, they just got some things they gotta figure out. They're there. They're my team that's gonna get very close to being in that top 7, but they might just miss it. And then I have the Jets. There is so much up and downness on the Jets. I've talked to guys who think they're going to win 8 games this year, and I've talked to guys who think they're going to win fucking 13. But if we take a look at their schedule, I think is this season for me, yeah. Disregard the records because this has nothing to do with what my picks are for this. But if you just take a look at some of these games, man, it's just kind of tough. They just start tough. Like, they play the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Chargers. These guys are playing a goddamn gauntlet this year. So, I think they're going to get out of the gauntlet all right. I think they might get a win or 2 out of it. And I think they do pretty good. I think they'll do pretty good this season. What do you think?
See, I don't give a fuck what their schedule looks like. The Jets are going to win the division. And I'll tell you why. The only weakness they have on that team is the O-line. Let's not forget, they had a top 5 defense last year. They had the offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year last year. Garrett Wilson is him. They have a whole bunch of guys Aaron Rodgers are comfortable with from the wide receiver room coming to the Packers. They just got Delvin Cook. They have backups like Breece Hall to back up Delvin Cook, and then Carter. This team is stacked. And we got to remember, Aaron Rodgers has one of the fastest releases in the game right now. He's a 30-year-old vet, 40-year-old vet, whatever old he is. And I don't think he really needs O-line to succeed. He just needs the weapons, and he definitely has them. The defense will bail him out about 80% of the time. So I think this team should be no less than 11 wins.
That's a good spot for them because I think I have them at 11. Yeah, I can't argue with any of the points. The only point I can argue is they're human. All these gauntlet games they're gonna be playing this year is just it'll all come down to what happens, and I'm not gonna give them all wins on all of them because let's be honest, if they can get out of that gauntlet undefeated, they should win the Super Bowl. I'm just gonna say that because they play almost every damn team that's contending for the Super Bowl this year. So,
Right.
if they get out of that and they're just going crazy, expect a Super Bowl from the Jets. But I think this is a very solid team, and that leads into my number 1. I have the Bills at 1. I think they'll just do what Josh Allen usually does and be really good during the season and just die during this off season. That's kind of just where I'm at with the Bills, at least. When you take a look at the Bills matchups versus the Jets, they kind of play a lot of the similar teams, but a lot of their easy win games are a little easier than the Jets.
I love Josh Allen. He's my favorite quarterback in the NFL, and I'm not going to rag on him whatsoever. I'm just going to rag on the team as a whole. They haven't figured out the running back thing. The O-line is like, whatever. It's okay. It's all right. It's whatever. The D-line, it's also mid, right? The corners, whatever. It's I don't know. That team is they're consistently good with a average team on paper. I think they'll do the same thing again they've been doing the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll have a good season. I think they'll be around 11, 12, 13 wins, like per usual. they'll make it to maybe an AFC Championship game, a divisional, and lose. I just don't see them. You know, for instance, would say they match up with the Jets in the divisional. I just don't see them hitting that pressure that well. With Aaron Rodgers being, the vet he is,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. Maybe it's their year. Hopefully it's their year. I love the Bills. I love them, but I'm just so high in the Jets. So I don't know.
Well, those are good points. I mean, we can all agree that this division is full of good teams this year. So this division is going to have good football. Sadly, the Patriots won't be up to the same standard as the other three, but for the most part, this division's got some good ball in them. So I expect at minimum two of those three teams making playoffs, if not all three. So
That would be crazy.
but we'll move on to the next division, the North.
I like this list.
So again, I don't think any of these teams are bad. I actually think this division's better than the division we just covered, but the division, what I mean by better is it's going to be even more competitive than the other division. I don't think any of these teams are, well, minus the Bengals. I don't think these three are like as crazy as I think the Dolphins and the Jets will be, because I think they'll all have 10 plus wins. I could see the Browns and Falcons getting 10 plus wins, but I mean, you're very reaching at this point if I think they're going to go over 11. Whereas I think the Dolphins and the Jets could both go over 11. But just off of what I'm thinking, well, I'll start at the bottom and we'll work our way up. I mean, what do you think on the Steelers? I mean, I think they're in for another 9-8 season.
Yeah, I think they're right around that with the stacked division. But I think Kenny Pickett is really going to figure it out this year. I think he's going to he's going to ball out this year. Like I like Kenny. I like Pickens. I like that team in general. It's not a bad team whatsoever. It's just the problem is this division is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you put this in like this Steelers team on NFC South, they'll win with like 13 wins, 12 wins easily. But they're not. So they're probably around 9-8, 8-9, somewhere around there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Give me one sec. Damn it. I forgot what I was going to do. But anyway, so moving on to number 3. This one's hard for me because I'm a Lamar stan. My problem is I think the Ravens have more than one team to worry about this year. I know that we all aren't Deshaun Watson fans, and I'm with everybody. I don't think he's a great person for what he was doing, but his talent is you can't recognize talent, and I think Deshaun Watson was a great quarterback before, and I think he's going to come back and do great again. Thus, meaning the Ravens, I think are going to be just under the Browns. I think this will be insanely close, but this is where I'm at the Ravens, man. That's a good team right there, the Ravens. And just like I said, the other division, I think all three of those teams could make playoffs. The problem is we got to make sure that Lamar's healthy, man. That's where I'm at. If he's not healthy, last year them making playoffs was because Lamar stayed healthy enough, and his problem was he couldn't last to the playoffs, and that's why they lost right away. So this is a hot take in my opinion, but I think the Browns will be over the Ravens. What do you think with the Ravens at least?
I don't disagree with the Browns being over the Ravens. I disagree about this team being stacked. I don't like this team. I don't like the wide receivers. I don't like the running backs. Odell hasn't played in 3 years. They have Zay Flowers, that rookie out of, I think, Boston College, something like that. I don't know. And he's fast, but he's a rookie. I don't like Lamar. He's too egotistical. He thinks he's top shit. Yeah, he won an MVP. I don't give a fuck. He won an MVP. That was fucking 45 years ago. Yeah, if he stays healthy, sure, he might have a decent year, but I don't think we're going to see the same Lamar as we did, MVP season. I don't think I think that guy's gone. So, I think this team will be like 10-7.
Hmm. That's about where I was at. Yeah, and then we got the Browns, man. This team could be either 9 or 8 or 11 and what would it be 11-6, I think. Like this is the dark horse for me. This team, man. I fuck with Nick Chubb so much. I think this will be his breakout season.
He's been he's like one of the best running backs in the game.
I say breakout as in he finally is the only running back there touching the ball. I think like they'll workhorse this dude like Derrick Henry. That's where I'm getting at. I think he could most definitely just absolutely go nuts this season. This team for me, it relies on what the hell Deshaun Watson does. If it's literally what happened, the reason why I don't think he's gonna be as bad is we seen Deshaun Watson come back last season when he literally came back like from a year and a half out of football. Okay, like he was rusty. He was not doing as good as we thought he would coming like straight out. But after he's just had this whole off season to kind of get his shit back together, I mean, he's got 4, arguably 5 better than mid receivers to target. Like he has weapons, man. And if you can get an Amari Cooper out there, Deshaun Watson can launch the ball, man. And that defense is better than people are thinking. I mean, if you just take a fucking look at these guys, it's literally all just dogs except maybe 2 or 3 of them. So, I mean, I got a lot of hope for Cleveland. I really do. What do you think?
I'm going to rebuttal off you about how the team looks on paper. This team is the definition of stacked, right? This team is really good. They have a top 3 O-line. They will have defense will be top 10 easily. I mean, they got Zadarius Smith from the Packers, dude. I mean, this team is stacked. This defense is stacked. The question marks are wide receiver and quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes, Amari Cooper is probably the best route runner in a game still. If not, maybe top 3. He's still an elite route runner at worst. It's just I don't know if Deshaun's the guy. I don't. I don't think we're gonna see Texans Deshaun ever again. I think I think it took a toll on what happened to him, and that 2 years off was too much of a break for him. I think he's regressing from here on out.
That's definitely possible. Definitely possible. I could definitely see that. I hope it is him because if not, this team is definitely not gonna be second in my opinion.
No, it'll be 3rd.
I like Joshua Dobbs. I'm glad he's their backup, and I really like Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think that's very smart that they took him in the 5th round. I can't believe he fell that far actually, but the Browns taking him, I think that's a good indicator that he can learn from Deshaun Watson and Dobbs because they're all kind of the same type of playmaker. But I don't want to talk too much about Dorian because he obviously won't start at all this year. But I liked what I've seen from that preseason game, and I've always liked what I've seen from him in college. So I'm excited for that kid. What did Ethan say? Damn, I guess I ain't shit. Ethan, don't say that.
Was that fair?
He said, "Did I miss Clemson?" Buddy, you missed the whole goddamn college talk, man. We already ran through them all.
Clemson's 12-0. Clemson's 12-0, bro. Don't worry. Or 11-1.
I have them at 12-0. The only game I think
12-0.
there's only one game I think they could lose, and it's the FSU game. So, but anyway, back to that. And then I mean, I don't really want to touch too much on the Bengals, but I just think the Bengals are one of the best teams.
I kind of want to touch on the Bengals a bit.
You can. Everything I'm going to say will probably be the same thing you'll say, so I'll let you take over the talk for them. But the only thing I'll say is they're probably one of the best teams in football, so take it away.
Right. They didn't address the running back issue. They drafted a running back. What's his name? Shit. He doesn't look. I forget his name. Oh my god. He doesn't look. He's pretty good, honestly. But I just don't like Joe Mixon. I don't like Joe Mixon. But the wide receiver trilogy is probably the best trilogy NFL's ever seen. So like, I love that for them. I love Joe Burrow. The O-line is still dog shit. I don't give a fuck what people say. The O-line is still fucking trash until they prove it.
They stay poopy.
Now, the defense is where they lost pieces, okay? And they lost their tight end, too. But the defense is where they really lost pieces. They lost both their starting safeties, right? They're both gone. So they got Daxton Hill from Michigan. in a sophomore year starting, and then they have I don't know who the other one is.
Nick Scott.
Yeah, that's him.
He came from the
I don't know
Rams.
how I don't know how these safeties are gonna play. I don't think they're really that great in coverage. I think they're more like a nickel safety, like CJ on the Saints or like a Brian Branch at Alabama. I think they're more like that. So I'm curious on how they're gonna play against these deep ball threats, and if they do play the Dolphins this year, if they can lock up Waddle, if they can lock up these like fast players. I'm curious how that's gonna work. Their corners, they're fucking not that good either. Yeah, they got rid of Eli Apple, but like Eli Apple is still shit. I guess that doesn't really matter. At defensive line, I like Trey Hendrickson, but that's the only defensive lineman I like on that fucking team. Like their defense is, I think they're gonna be like the Chiefs last year. I think they'll be a top 5 offense, but I think they'll be like falling towards like the bottom, like around 16, 17, 18 defense wise. I don't think the defense is gonna be that crazy. So I think we're gonna see a lot of shootouts between the Bengals this year.
Yeah, I can see the defense as a whole being pretty just mid. I think they're a little better than maybe you're saying they will be. I don't know. I definitely agree with all the points you say, though. The offense is going to be just shootout central. I mean, that's why I'm also insanely big on having Bengals in fantasy this year. But that's for a completely different topic. But yeah, I don't have too much to say other than what you just said. Only other thing I gotta say is expect the rookies that they drafted to try to fill in some of those spots you were talking about. 'Cause that's the only piece that they really focused on was making sure they have fillers. But like I said, who knows what rookies can do? They're rookies for crying out loud. So yeah, that's basically the AFC North here. Move on to the next one. I don't know why it keeps going out. We got the AFC South next. We'll breeze through this one. But
yeah.
this is definitely, in my opinion, probably the biggest landslide. Again, disregard those records. They're not what I'm about to talk about. But I mean, I don't see a lot of promise for the Colts. I mean, they've just started Anthony Richardson. That to me is an indicator just throwing the season away. I don't see him being the difference maker just yet, at least. I actually expected them to kind of just play Gardner for a little bit and then get Anthony Richardson in there. But in my opinion, them starting Anthony Richardson basically means they're already cool with not doing good this season. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just degrade the Colts. So, do you got any thoughts you want to touch on?
Especially with the Jonathan Taylor situation going on, I don't know what's going to happen to him if he's leaving or not. If they're going to franchise tag him. This team is in shambles. We got to see what Anthony does, and the fact they're starting him over Gardner, it's an indicator that they're just like, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna say they're the shittiest team in football. They're probably down there, but I mean, this defense, in my opinion, isn't the best, and their offense is kind of just chilling right now.
Yeah, they trade away their best edge rusher to the Bears.
I mean, again, when you're like, and Gardner Minshew isn't anything to brag about. Let's be honest. But if you're already starting the third quarterback drafted in the NFL draft over Gardner Minshew, that's an indicator, in my opinion, that they're cool with him failing his first season. I mean, he could do really good. I just don't think the Colts do really good with him doing really good. That's just where I'm at. But we got the Texans at 3. I mean, the Texans and the Colts could be interchanged, whatever. My thing is, I think the Texans will. I think C.J. Stroud won't do as good. I'll say this now. I'm a little biased on C.J. Stroud. I thought he should have stayed another year. I mean, him waiting till the last day to declare should be an indicator to everybody that he also was under that impression that maybe he should stick around one more year. But
Right.
I mean, for the most part, he's a good quarterback. I'll give the kid that. And the Texans are starting to revamp a little bit. I could see him winning a few games here. I think they win one more than the Colts, though.
Yeah, I think this team will be sitting around 6-11, 7-10.
Oh, you're even giving them a little more
Maybe
than I
not
thought.
7-10. Maybe not 7-10. Like 6-11, 5. No, probably probably 6-11. Yeah, I think. I mean, they have wide receiver weapons. They have weapons. I mean, we'll see what Stroud does. They have Damian Pierce. That
Mm-hmm.
offense is not bad at all, like
It's not.
whatsoever. That's probably like a top half offense if Stroud figures it out. The defense, I don't really know shit about that defense actually, so I can't really talk about that. But I think they'll be a 6-win team. I think it's a good number.
Ethan goes, can't lie. Jags dark horse Super Bowl pick for me. I mean, I'll touch on that in a second. Let's go to the Titans real quick. Um, I mean, there's nothing special for me with the Titans. I mean, both sides of the ball is just mid. I think they win just one more than the third place team. I literally could see second, third, fourth being like 7 wins, 6 wins, 5 wins. Like that's how bad I think they could be.
Right.
I mean, do you have anything else? I'll say actually one more thing. I don't think Will Levis will start right away, unless they already have him starting. I have no idea. I think it'll be Ryan Tannehill. He's like such a mid guy. Like I'm trying to think of a good mid, like a Joe Flacco almost. Like he's just there. If that defense was insane, they could definitely go to a far playoff push. But Tannehill's just he's gotten to a point where his years are numbered. I mean, he's just gotten worse. The dude's just not good anymore. Proud of him for making the jump back he made. I mean, he got injured for the whole goddamn year at the Dolphins, and they just cut his ass. And then he tried to revamp his goddamn life with the Titans. They just could never figure it the fuck out. So, I mean, that's where they're at right now. They're just in that water where they don't know what the hell's going on, I think.
Yeah, well, it depends on what Mayo and the Coffee does.
Yeah.
If he can, they got some weapons there. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry's still there. The offense is not terrible. O line's okay. They just drafted a big O lineman, and
Mm-hmm.
so I mean the offense is almost there, but like it just depends on the quarterback, and the defense is like you said, mid. So
Well,
they're whatever.
they're a team that's together. A team that's together that's better than a good amount of teams. I'll say that. If AR sucks so bad, they get May. I can't see the other word because there's a heart in front of it. Or draft. What's that word say? It starts with the get May. You draft. Oh, do you draft May or no? We'll touch on the Cardinals in a minute, but the Cardinals. Or sorry, I just said the Cardinals because I was reading that. The Jaguars, in my opinion, are the team that's just gonna probably like if you were a betting man, I'd probably out of all the divisions, I'd probably put the Jaguars as the winner, and I'd probably put $1 million on it. I don't see any of these other teams touching them. I mean, the Jaguars were goddamn like I said. I think the second place team in this division could get 7 wins. I think the Jags could get as much as 12 for crying out loud.
Yeah, the Jags. I'm high on the Jags. I'm really high on the Jags. I like their offense. I like their defensive pieces. I think the Jags will be contending for the number 1 seed in the AFC. I think Trevor Lawrence will be contending for an MVP run if he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm really high on the Jags. I really like this team.
Yeah, can't disagree more. I've always been a big Jaguars fan. I'm just ready for them to do good, man. And this is their season, I think. Respectfully. I'm just not too sure on the Calvin Ridley hype, but I've been hearing he's doing really good, so we'll see.
All right.
Now we're going to the last part. I believe it's the West I haven't done yet.
Yep. We got the entire NFC.
So I think these picks are kind of straightforward, except for 2 of them maybe changing places with each other. But for the most part, let's start at number 4. I arguably think this is one of the worst teams in football, but that's just because I'm really against the Raiders this season. I'm not expecting Jimmy G to make it 3 games again. Adams is just pissed off. I mean, is their defense even fucking top 30? I don't even know. So I'm I'm very, very under on this team right now. I feel bad for Jacobs and Adams. That's where I'm at with this team.
Yeah, this team's in shambles. Jimmy G's not gonna do anything. I think this team is like the oldest team in the NFL right now. They're
Oh
old as
God.
shit. But just they got to rebuild. They have a massive rebuild coming up for the next couple of years. So
Oh, so then I got the Broncos. I think they'll do a little better than they did last year. Everyone's waiting for this Russell Wilson hype, even with the new coach, Sean Payton coming in. I don't know, man. I'm not bought in still.
I like Sean Payton coming there. I think they're gonna get more wins than last year. I think they're around 9-10 wins. But I just don't see more of the Chargers, and I'll get to why when we do the Chargers. But I think this team will be decent, and I think they'll be like a 9-win, 10-win team.
Yeah, I agree with that wins. 9. I think 9's a good number for them. The Chargers, man, this is one of those teams that is just good that like they make playoffs and then they just break your heart, man. That's where I'm at with the Chargers. I mean, if I'm correct, I don't think their defense is to talk about, and they have pieces on their defense. I won't lie, but overall, I just think they're figuring that out still. But for the offense, man, I think Justin Herbert's definitely up there. I think Eckler will just do really good like he usually does. I really like this receiving core other than Keenan Allen. He's just getting there in age. It sucks to see Keenan Allen and say he probably won't do as good as he usually does. It sucks, but I have big, big hopes for that Quentin Johnson kid and Mike Williams to take over. So I don't think they're losing much. If anything, it's a 2-for-1 deal. But yeah, I think this team will just do as they usually do.
I think this team is going to be solid. I think this team's going to be better, and this is why. Everyone fails to forget why the Chargers are fucking shit. It's because their damn head coach is running the offense the entire time Herbert has been there. He's dog shit. He's not an offensive coach. He's terrible. And they just brought a new OC in.
I love the OC they got. Love it.
He's good. I think he's going to take this team up, and I think this team actually might be able to knock Chiefs out of the one spot. Maybe.
I could see it.
But we'll see. I could be crazy saying that. That's obviously a hot take, but I'm high on this new OC, and Herbert's just him. The like you said, Eckler, bro. The wide receiver room it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is actually not bad at all. It's probably like a top 17, like top half team defense. Like I don't know. We'll see, but like I'm high on them.
Couldn't agree more. I believe when I was doing these, I don't know why I didn't put the records in here, but I'm pretty sure I have the Chargers 1 loss under the Chiefs. So I definitely have the Chiefs and Chargers being very good this season. And we can dive into the Chiefs. My only thing is obviously I'm not even worried about the receiving core. Mahomes makes somebody his receiver. We've already seen it for the past 2 years. My thing is the defense is just kind of still building up, and I just honestly think they're a little step back than usual.
Yeah, with talks of Chris Jones leaving, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to talk about them. They're the reigning Super Bowl champs. I still think this is a very good team. It's just we'll see what happens with them. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to really say about them because there's not many bad spots with the Chiefs. But yeah, they could definitely work on that defense a little more, in my opinion. But I definitely think they edge out the Chargers by at most a win. If not, they might tie. I could see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun division to watch between those 3 teams.
So I guess I could dive into who I think are making playoffs at least for them. Where is
Or do
it?
you want to say that after NFC predictions?
We can do it after if you want. I was just gonna do it because we're talking about them. But so let's hit the NFC East then. Let's head on to the other side. This is probably the hottest division out of all of them. I understand why. I'll just say my piece. I'm sure we're gonna have different opinions on this one. I actually think this whole goddamn division's good. Um, this might be crazy, but I could see them all making playoffs. But it would only depend if the other two teams that I think will make playoffs that won't win their division just lose an accidental one or two. But the 3 and 4, I can probably see them being flipped. I'm going with the fear factor that Washington will probably be the best defense, if not one of the best, and I think that quarterback will figure it out. I'm very high on Sam Howell, so I think Washington could be just above the Giants, if not they're tied, and they're just over them because of tiebreaker. Daniel Jones, I like. I like him with the Giants with his feet. I'm not sold on his ability to pass yet because he hasn't proven it. That receiving core is the middest receiving core I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they probably have 7 fucking guys that you could just combine into one mid-god. But, I mean, we could even just look at this depth chart. What the hell is Ethan saying? Commanders, I have as a top 10 pick. Lots of questions for the players, the top organization. I mean, yeah, that's very true, but I'll tell you in a sec. I'm on the Giants. So, I mean, Barkley being there is good. Just like I said, all these goddamn receivers are so fucking mid. I mean, Jalen Hyatt will probably be the guy that stands out from all of them. But other than that, I mean, I'm curious to see your thought, actually, in the Giants because I think they're a pretty decent team.
The Giants, I love Brian, whatever his last name is. I love the coach.
The ball, yeah.
I think he's a good coach. Daniel Jones, I don't know about him yet. I know he went through that streak for he went 8-9 weeks without throwing an interception last year. Too much picked him off, so he was doing pretty solid. I think his name's Campbell, the wide receiver. He was hurt all last year. Wasn't Hodgins hurt all last year too?
Yeah, I think there were some injuries, but they were on different teams. I think were they on the Giants last year?
Like Prince or Price or something like that.
Campbell.
Paris Campbell, yes. That was supposed to be their wide receiver 1, and he didn't play last year.
Okay,
or something like that.
I'm just looking, yeah, because they have Wandale Robinson, that's Sterling Shepard, who gets hurt every fucking year.
If Daniel Jones can throw the ball even averagely this year, this team will be good. This team will probably be a 10-win team. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the issue is going to the Commanders. That's a top 3 defense, and if Sam Howell turns out good, imagine Sam Howell and Scary Terry. That's going to be disgusting. So the top 3 defense. Who's their? Well, they have Brian Robinson as a running back. He was a rookie last year.
Mm-hmm.
Who's their tight end?
It's Logan Thomas.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, so Logan he's pretty decent. We can jump into Washington now. I'm kind of done with the Giants, but okay. So a lot of people aren't having a lot of people that I've talked to have Washington around 6-7 wins. I think we're forgetting the fact that this defense is really good. And I honestly think this could be a Baltimore Ravens type scenario when they're not going to do as good as them. Let me not confuse the narrative here. I think they're going to be structured kind of like how they were. I think Sam Howell will kind of play that Joe Flacco role where he'll be very mid, but he'll get the job done. And I think that defense is going to hold the fuck out of them for games. I mean, it sucks that they have to play the 3 teams 2 times that they have to. I mean, this goddamn division's good this year. So I remember, 3 years ago that they were all fucking almost with losing records. I think it was something like that. But yeah, the Washington can be good, man. I am a very big fan of Sam Howell. All I hear is good things. They literally have a backup plan just in case Sam Howell doesn't turn out good, and it's Jacoby Brissett. So, yeah, man. You were saying the Bengals have one of the best groups of receivers. I think Washington has one of the better ones in this league, too.
What was their second and third?
They have Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, hot dogs. And Curtis. Yeah, that's a pretty solid core right there.
If anything, a great duo. I mean, I'm just throwing Curtis Samuel in there because I know he can be really good. He's just I don't think he's been healthy enough, but I think that's a really good setup.
I don't know how the O line looks, and I don't know how it looks with a middle line.
Yeah.
Actual line.
So there's question marks here. I agree. There's definitely question marks. We'll just see, man. This is going to be an interesting one. This is one of my dark horse teams that I'm very excited to watch. Because this could definitely be a 7 or 6-11 type team, or they could definitely be like a 9-8. We'll just have to see. But for my 1 and 2, these two are these were very hard for me. I actually picked the Cowboys over the Eagles for the sole reason that this division hasn't had a repeat winner in I think almost 2 decades. So I'm going on the assumption that the Cowboys will be able to just barely edge out the Eagles. That's how close I have them at. I don't think the Eagles will repeat what they did last year, but that's just me.
I don't think so either.
I also don't think the Cowboys are amazing either. Let me just throw that out there. I think there's gonna be a lot of good football played. I can probably bet you that a lot of these teams will 1-1 each other. And man, I just hear so much. I just want to say this. This might be a hot take, but I hear so much shit about Dak Prescott, and I think he's better than mid though. That's just where I'm at. He's had
a bad year. What?
He just had he has such a good receiving core that it doesn't make sense how he doesn't produce with this team.
Right. Me for the Eagles, they lost key pieces. They were a top 3 line, and I think they moved to like a top 15. So they lost quite a bit of offense. They lost the leading interceptor in the league last year in C.J. Gardner-Johnson because they paid old ass Darius Slay. Don't get me wrong, Darius Slay's still good, but losing CJ is kind of crazy to me. And then their wide receivers are good. I don't know what Hurts does this year. Was it a 1-year wonder, like a Eugene thing? Or sorry, not Eugene. That's his actual name, a Geno thing, or was it like
he just called Geno Eugene? I'm done.
That's his name, but I kept trolling. But yeah, was it a 1-year wonder thing, or is Jalen Hurts actually him? I don't know. We'll have to see this year. But either way, the Cowboys, that team's stacked. And if Dak Prescott can play like he did before he broke his ankle, there's no way in my mind this is not a 14-win team. No doubt in my mind.
Wow. We'll leave it with that. Those are two good teams in my opinion at the top there, and those are 2 really good mid teams in the NFL. So this is going to be a very fun division in my opinion. Ethan says Giants' schedule is brutal, and I believe 8 away game. Is that loss? Hold on. And I believe 8 as well. I believe 8 away games in a row. They have 8. Do they really? Where's the Giants?
They're away, they'll all be on the left column. If they're away, they'll all be on the left column.
I don't think they're all in a row. They would never do that.
Yeah, no.
It's alright. I'll delete that. But, yeah, we can move on from these guys. These guys are good, man. I like this group. And just like I said, the only thing I see different is these 2 switch in and these 2 switch. Those are like the only single things. I don't see anyone else jumping around that much. But,
no.
We'll leave it for that. North. So, this is what I have for the North.
Save this for last.
Do you want me to?
That's up to you. Up to you. Your show.
I think it's fine to talk about them here. Just going in order of the divisions. I don't think this one's too much of a shocker, honestly. I think these 4 mostly people can agree with, except maybe first and second being in different spots. I've heard just from a very few people the Bears being a little higher, but I mean, I'm just going to start with the fourth team where a lot of people agree will probably be fourth this year, and that's the Packers. I try to take my biasness of the fact that Rodgers is gone out of the equation, but I find it hard to believe that Jordan Love will just pop up after seeing what he's done in these past 2 seasons and just take this team to a promised land. I just find it hard.
I'm starting to buy into the Packers. I'm not gonna lie. After seeing him in preseason, he looked. I know it was against second, third stringers. I get that. Everyone's gonna harsh on me for this, but he looked good. He looked real good. And that defense is still really good. That's still like a top 15 defense.
Yeah.
And they still have Aaron Jones. They still have some decent wide receivers. They just upgraded their D line with what's his face? Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Whatever his name is. I don't know. Like, if they do finish fourth, then because I don't know, because I feel like the Vikings might finish fourth, bro. I can't believe I'm saying that, but like, I feel like the Vikings might finish fourth because they're the one who's losing everything. They have Madison as a running back. They lost to Darius Smith, probably their like best defensive players. And I don't know, like I don't know. This division is getting like hard to me. Like I don't know what.
This is a tough one because they're all very equal right now.
I think the Lions are number one no matter what, but like 2, 3, and 4 is like I'm starting to gain on the Bears train. I'm like I want the Vikings to go down. I'm starting to gain on the Packers train. Like I'm starting to believe in these Packers and Bears, but the Vikings, I don't know. Like but they have Kirk Cousins and Jay Jettis, and now they have what's his name? I'm forgetting names today. Holy shit.
Addison.
Yeah, Jordan Addison. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
and they have Hawkinson. Like
yeah, they have Hawkinson. Yeah, just taking.
You take away three.
Go ahead.
You take away 3 points. You take away 3 points away from all their games. You finish like what 6 and fucking 12, and the defense even got worse than it was last year. I don't know. I think they're gonna do a lot of shootouts, and I think their defense is gonna be so fucking garbage that they're gonna lose a lot of games because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with a majority of that. I at least talking for the Packers because that's where I have them at fourth. That is my one big worry is the Jordan Love momentum. I like the defense. I've always liked this defense, even though this is probably one of the teams I hate the most. I respect the hell out of the defense, and they've only gotten better. I mean, shit, the Bears have only gotten better too, and I hate that team in my life. But
Same.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have too much to say. That receiving core is just unproven. That quarterback here is unproven. I mean, the running back core, I have been waiting for A.J. Dillon to do good, and he just has not broken that first string yet. And they just still got Aaron Jones. I mean, I have the Packers here, and I think next year they'll jump all the way back up to where they usually are. That's how crazy this division could get next year. But just for this year, I definitely see them being like very questionable. This is a very questionable team.
Yeah.
All on literally the receiver and quarterback. I could even throw the running backs in there. I mean, Aaron Jones, man, you gotta stay fucking healthy. But what did Ethan just throw in there? Yeah, Bears Vikings records would be different if one score games went opposite. Yeah, that's very true. So the Bears, I have them in third. Let me pull up their depth chart real quick because I don't know too much. All right, this is what I'll say on the Bears. I mean, I'm actually not insanely bought in on the Justin Fields hype, but I do know watching this kid in college, he has an arm. The only thing is he just hasn't proved it yet in the NFL that he can make what he did in college happen in the NFL. That's the only thing I'm kind of wishing I could see from him this upcoming season. I have him in third because I do think they're going to be at least one or two wins under the Lions and the Vikings, because I do also think the Lions and Vikings will be insanely close. I think this team could be an 8-9 team, probably 7 wins, but I do think 8. And with a lot of promise going into the future, I think this team is on the right track. They just need one more year to be on that playoff train, I think. That's kind of where I'm at with them, because I really like that DJ Moore move. I am such a DJ Moore fan. I am praying that this is what Justin Fields has been this is what I'm hoping DJ Moore has needed, was a quarterback that needs a receiver, and I think that's what this could turn into. Plus, that defense is pretty noticeably starting to get better, so this could be another dark horse type team, but for the most part, I think they kind of safely around 7-8.
Yes. I think this is where me and you vary. I think the Bears will finish second in the division. This is my complete unbiased opinion on the Bears, or on the Fields. I think we all know he has an arm, right? We know he can throw it deep, he can throw it whatever, but his accuracy is like, it's whatever, it's mid. Where he struggles, I think, is reading defenses. I think that's his biggest flaw as a quarterback right now. And if he figures that out, and he has DJ Moore, Mooney had 1,000 yards last year, so we can't really hate on him either. It's just it's a lot of check downs, and their blocking is right. Pass blocking is not bad here with those screens.
Yeah, they're not.
It's not. It's a nice design play. Like that DJ Moore play they just had, where he got that like 60-yard touchdown. That was really nicely designed by the OC or whoever the hell did it, head coach. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ride the Bears. I'm gonna say they finish second division. I think they'll be a 9-8.
Yeah, that defense could definitely help them get there too. I don't discredit this team.
Yep.
I just think they need one more year.
Yep. So do I.
But so with the Vikings, that obviously sounds like I'm on the other side of the spectrum with you on this one. So I'm very curious to hear your opinions on this. This is what I'll say about the Vikings. I think this team will be overpowered by offense. I think that's why they've won the games they have in the past. I still think this is how it's going to roll. I think this is the type of team that wins 9 games and squeaks in the playoffs just because of how bad the conference is, obviously. But I just don't. Kirk Cousins just everyone always thinks he's mid. I think he's a lower grade type quarterback. He has these fucking weapons that are just so goddamn overpowered that when you got Jordan Addison, who literally could probably be the best rookie receiver, and you got Justin Jefferson, who's probably the best receiver, and you got TJ Hockenson, who's a top 3, it's insanely hard to think that Kirk Cousins can't just manhandle his way to wins this season. It's just very hard. It's not like you got Sam fucking Darnold throwing to these two. I'd be like, that's so fucking unfortunate for these receivers. But they at least have Kirk Cousins, and yeah, that running back core, that's probably the reason why I don't have them any higher. I think that's going to be an interesting fucking running back core, man. I actually thought like this would be the team that got like Zeke or something, but I actually think they're so bought into this Madison guy. They are so bought into him. But yeah, that defense, I will always agree that they're definitely not amazing. But I think this is the type of team that just powers with offense.
So here's what I think is going to happen with this team. I think they're going to regress simply because of Dalvin Cook being gone. If you can't run the ball, you can't open up play action. If you can't open up play action, you're going to be blitzed 95% of the fucking time. And your quarterback's going to get pressured to make either bad throws, get sacked, or throw interceptions. Like, I think that's going to be the main issue here with this team. His O-line is not great. Madison is fucking dog shit. They're not going to be able to establish the run.
Dog shit. Wow.
I hate Madison's fucking shit, bro. I can't stand Madison. And if he turns out good, then I'll fucking whatever. I was wrong, whatever. But I think he's dog shit. I like Kirk. Obviously, they have a crazy ass wide receiver room with Hawk and Jay Jettis and Addison. The defense might be the worst defense in the league next year. It's bad. It's really bad. So I think they regress. I really do. I don't think they get lucky with these 3-point wins again this year. I think they'll finish 7-10 with the Packers.
It's a good take. I like it. I like the different perspectives. I'm definitely very on the high horse for this team getting the offense push. That's just really where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments as I'm listening to you.
People talking shit.
Kinda. I like Ethan's point that he just brought up. He did say I don't think they're sold on Madison. They brought in Hunt on a visit and many other vets. The reason why I think they're bought on him is this team would have never put themselves in the position to have him as a starter and not sign any vets at this point. I think, like, for example, the teams that did just sign those 2 big vets, they are teams that are nowhere near this type of situation that we think they, like, I'm comparing, Breece Hall in this point to a Madison. Like, there's no reason to sign Dalvin Cook to the Jets when you look at, the Vikings. And obviously Dalvin Cook was just released for money. But, I mean, right. I think they have some vision on Madison that none of us know on. And it's all going to come down to what happens in this season for the kid. I mean, I always had him actually as a handcuff. I liked throwing him in on fantasy at least. So, I mean, if he doesn't fucking pan out, they're definitely in trouble. I'm 100% agreeing on that. They are in goddamn trouble at that running back. I just don't think he's going to be worse than, I don't think he's going to be dog shit. That's where I'm at with him. I think he'll be mid.
Another perspective I'm looking at is this is Kirk Cousins' last year on his contract, right? And does he want to play there again? If not, and they know that, why not?
You think he's going to throw it?
A little bit. Why not the Vikings tank a little bit? Maybe look for a Drake May. Maybe look for... they have draft capital. They have people they can trade. Obviously, they will never trade Justin Jefferson, but can they really pay Jay Jettis around fucking $30 million a year and pay Kirk Cousins with these quarterbacks?
How old is Kirk? Kirk is 34. So there is a decent chance they re-sign him. That's where I'm at.
I think Kirk goes to the 49ers next year.
Ooh, that's fucking interesting. Everyone always wants these 49ers to get one of these guys. I swear to fucking God, I love it.
Oh, because the thing about it, 49ers have an average, a good quarterback, bro. They should be Super Bowl winners. They should be.
No, I hear that. Oh, thanks, Staniel. Fote knows his football. I appreciate that. I am very curious on what your other comment was. I don't even know what you're talking about. I wasn't telling you to STFU. I was telling Manfish because some of his takes are delusional. I don't know what...
Who told me that?
Staniel? I A, don't know who that is, and B...
That fucking veggie, bitch ass.
I don't know when anyone was telling me to shut the fuck up, so...
No, he was telling me to shut the fuck up.
Oh, he was? Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, he's stupid as shit and thinks Geno Smith's gonna fucking be good again.
That's funny. I love the hate. I love the heat. Keep it coming, Staniel. I stand.
On our way to Detroit.
Yeah, let's move on to Detroit. We've been on the Vikings for a little too long. So, we are both Lions fans, so I'm going to keep this as unbiased as possible. You guys will see my playoffs picture, and that's extremely biased, so let's not get that wrong. But I do think this team is the best Lions team we've seen in probably fucking 2 decades as a whole.
Our lives, easily.
Probably in our lives, yeah. But I am extremely excited because for the first time ever, this team is actually, at least, I'm not even going to say statistically rootable, but they're actually just rootable in general. I mean, there's people have never came around the country wanting the Lions to win, and now people are actually wanting them to do good. That's what gets me excited. I've never had that happen in probably 15 years of fucking watching football. People are actually on my side for once, and that gets me going. And when I look at this team, what they did last year, I mean, this team actually is built for a decent run for the first time in a long time. So I think 10, 11 wins is definitely doable for this team. They could maybe, if one of the teams that I think will beat the Lions, I think the Lions beat, I could see that being 12 as well, but I will not be putting that out in the air because if they hit 12 wins, I'm fucking running naked through Detroit. But 10 and 11 wins is where I'm at. That's where I think this team's definitely good for once.
Yeah, Dan Campbell coming in and building the culture was what we need. We need a culture build, and he did it, and it's working out fantastically. Brad Holmes is, I think, honestly, one of the best GMs in the NFL. I'm not even trying to be biased here. Like, he hasn't missed on a pick, dude. Like, I'm not even trying to be biased. Like, maybe Levi, but like, did he really miss? He's about to be a good depth player. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, but to say this team is not above 10 wins is kind of insane to me. Like, yeah, the defense was shit last year for the first 6 weeks. They were fucking garbage. Like worst defense in NFL history. But the key players we picked up, people we let go, people we drafted. I think this defense is going to finish probably a top half team. I want to say like top 10 or anything. I'll say like maybe top 20, top 17. I think this defense will improve a lot. The offense only got better. It depends. Like people are like, well, I don't know about Jared Goff. Well, I mean, you put Jared Goff in a good old line with good teams around, good players around him. He can prove that he can throw, 4,200, 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, like 7, 8 picks. Right? He's proved it before the Rams. So, like you said, it's the best team we've ever seen. One of the next couple of years is going to be fun to watch. Hopefully, we can be contenders. Going into this year, we're probably not a contender, but we definitely should be hosting a playoff game.
All right, I'll leave it with that. That was a good way to end this this division. All right. Next up, we got the South. Not gonna lie, this is one of the most unappetizing divisions in my opinion, but I will talk about them to some level. But I'll just start by saying this. I think a lot of these teams are a little better than what everyone's thinking. I think people are thinking they're gonna go like 7 wins, 6 wins, 4 wins. But honestly, I think they're a little better than what we're thinking. The only way I see the Bucs doing a little better than the Panthers is if Bryce struggles his rookie year, which could happen. But I will start the Bucs. That team is a fucking hot soup right now. They need to figure it out on pretty much every goddamn point except their receivers.
I don't mind the Bucs, dude. This defense is still top 15 defense. It's still a really good defense. Is Baker good or not? That's the question. Or is it be Kyle Trask? I don't know. But the quarterback is the question.
I think they're kind of I think they're kind of hot. They need to get off the Tom Brady thing, and that's where I'm at. Tom Brady led this fucking team, and nobody else ever thought about the rest of this team until now, because now that he's gone, finally, now we're all thinking, all right, now this is actually a fucking team event, not just the Tom Brady, I lead this goddamn team to everything because I'm Tom Brady train. I really like this receiving core. I really like Kyle Trask. I don't think he's ever gotten the chance yet. And if Baker becomes hot doo-doo, I could see him definitely coming in and at least doing something. And the piggyback off your point with the defense, I was talking hot soup on this offense because the defense is definitely, I don't think they're amazing. I do think they're at least mid, though. But I will say that the defense is going to at least hold them in certain games this season.
Yeah, that might be a fun watch. See if Trask plays, and it'll be fun to watch. But we'll see.
Tampa is mad intriguing to me. They changed a lot in offseason, not just TV, but new. Blah blah blah. Bucks are a wild card. I hope you're saying wild card as in they might be a very dark horse-ish team because I don't see them making the playoffs at all. But yeah, I think.
Let me guess. That's the. Go ahead.
That was Staniel. I don't know who that is still, but
Yeah, the Geno Smith lover. Yeah, I figured he'd have that terrible take.
That's funny. Love the beef, but yeah, I mean, I think the Bucks get like 6-7 wins. I don't think. I think the hot soup of quarterback here really fucks them up. I honestly do. This is a team that just got to figure out those pieces still. I didn't mean wild cards. That's what I thought you meant. I just wanted to make sure. But so we got the Panthers at 3. Funny enough, actually, before I did this, I had the Saints at 3. But I'll tell you why I changed that thought. But
Oh my god.
but so the Panthers. I mean, I think they'll either tie or do one win better than the Bucks this year. I mean, we all know why the Panthers probably won't be a playoff team. I mean, you have a goddamn rookie quarterback, a fresh new receiving core, and a fresh running back. Like, literally, you just have all these pieces that are brand new to this team. It's just kind of hard for me at least to think, oh yeah, Bryce Young's just gonna fucking date year one with a bunch of new faces to him, just kill it. I think this team could be better in the next 2 years, but right now they're just not there yet.
Yeah, there's not really not much to say about this team. I know the defense is pretty decent, but maybe the rookie. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And then you got the Falcons. I mean, missed it. The Falcons, I think, are a little. I would call them dark horses. I'd rather see Taylor Heineke start than Ritter, but give Ritter his chance. I mean, I guess give him his chance. He was really fun to watch in Cincinnati, so I'm excited to see what happens to the Falcons. Honestly, I'm really pumped about their defense. That's why I actually had them higher than the Saints. I was actually way too bought in with the defense, but I had to take a step back and actually look at it a little more, and I just don't think this offense is going to be able to be amazing yet. Once this offense figures it out, I think Falcons are a good team.
Yeah, well, it depends on the quarterback situation, like you said, and their defense definitely got really good this year, and obviously they have Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I could see the Panthers swapping with them. I don't know, but either way, they're still like a 7-win team.
Yeah.
8-win team.
It'll be interesting to see what Bijan does for this team, if he's just insanely overhyped or if he'll actually help this team out. Because, regardless of who the quarterback here is, Kyle Pitts and Drake London are going to help them out. That's kind of why I want Taylor to start, because I actually think Taylor's a pretty good quarterback. His only problem is he literally doesn't have a good receiver outside of Drake and Kyle Pitts, and that's just my opinion. A lot of people will say Matt Collins is at least mid, but I mean, even past him, everyone else is kind of like, who the hell are you? So, I mean, that's where I'm at with these Falcons, man. They just got to figure out the little pieces on the offense, and they'll be a better team. And then the Saints, I mean, a lot of people were telling me this is like the team that's going to win. Kind of like the Jaguars, like the Saints should just win it. My only reason was I'm a very biased person when it comes to Derek Carr, and I had to put that aside for the first time when doing these predictions, because I definitely underpredicted them my first time going through this, and I studied a little bit, and I realized I might be too biased towards Derek Carr. This is probably my most biased person in goddamn NFL, because I actually think Derek Carr shouldn't even start. And
oh my god,
I had to put it aside. I just don't know why I hate this guy so much, but I put it in my head that this might be his time. I think this might be his spot. I find it hard for him to do bad with Chris Olave. I find it hard. Sorry, I just heard a noise and it completely shut my mind off. Michael Thomas, that's what I was talking about. I find it hard for Michael Thomas to be relevant anymore. I mean, I guess if he can stop getting turf toe, he'll be great. But overall, I mean, I finally am on the train a little bit. I think the Saints are gonna win this division like by 3 or 4 wins. I could see it. The defense is
Yeah, it's
at least good, and I don't know, man. That running back core I like a lot. I'm not even saying that because I'm not even biased with Jamal Williams. I actually think he's kind of a weirdo. But that whole him, Kendra, and Kamara, whenever the hell he wants to stop fighting in the clubs, those three are good, and that receiving core is at least good. So I don't see them not making playoffs.
Yeah, this team should run away with the division, no, without a doubt. I mean, for starters, they have the weakest schedule in the NFL this year, right? They have the weakest schedule. This defense is still pretty good. Still probably, I'd say, at top half average around 16, 15 defense, right? Derek Carr is not bad at all. I don't know why people hate on him so much, but I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. Olave's there. I don't know, like, Michael Thomas, he's probably fucking done, like you said. But the move I like that they did is they got Jamal. I'm not even a big Jamal fan. I like it for Kamara, because Kamara's not going to be fucking a workhorse, bro. He's not going to be taking 100% of the fucking reps like he was the last 2 years. And with Jamal there, they're going to be able to split a lot of reps. And Jamal is, he'll be a decent second. He's a decent backup. He's a goal line princess, right? So this team should be around 11 wins.
Wow. All right, we'll leave it with that. And we finally get to the last one, the West. So we'll start with the Cardinals. I don't want to spend more than a minute on them because I actually think this is the worst team in football right now. I don't think there's a goddamn spot in this team that's amazing. I don't know. If you got anything, I honestly have nothing to say about this team. I think this is going to be a train wreck. I'm so fucking biased against this team that I don't even want them to win a game. That's how much I'm on this train for them to just suck.
I mean, with Kyler out for like the first 8-9 weeks with ACL still, you might as well, like, I know he's on contract to 26, but you might as well look for a replacement. You might as well tank, look for Drake May or how am I forgetting? Caleb Williams. You might as well look for something like that, right? He's done. He's gone. Get him out of here. Honestly, like, this team, holy fuck, it's bad. It's real bad for them.
I feel bad for the few guys on defense that I like because, for example, where is he at? Did they already get rid of him? No, Isaiah Simmons. Like, guys like that, I like them. They just are in such a confusing team right now that I don't even know. Their stock's just going to go down themselves for just being there. That's how bad this team is, man. My only thing is I find it so hard for them to draft a quarterback unless they trade away Kyler. That's where I'm at.
But who's gonna fucking trade for Kyler, bro? Honestly.
They're gonna lose so much fucking money if they move on from this guy. Like, you will have millions of dollars sitting on the bench for the next 2 years if you go and draft a quarterback. That's where I'm at, and I'm thinking more of the path of like. So if anyone doesn't know, I went back to school for my athletic development master's, and I wanted to work in football in this side of things, and this is where my thought on Kyler Murray comes in, because he is going to cost this team so much fucking money, man, if they just move on from him. So that's why I think they're in trouble for a while. Drafting a quarterback, obviously they could do that. Like, I would love to see a Caleb Williams here, honestly. That's what I would like to see at Carolina or Cardinals. I just don't think they're going to do that. They're going to be spending so much money on quarterbacks that it's going to be a nightmare. That's just where I'm at least. So I think this team's doomed for a minute, unless Kyler Murray picks his shit up. Or maybe they just say, fuck it, we want $28 million down the drain. We'll cut you. I mean, do you do that if this team's in that much of a disaster? I don't fucking know.
Cutting, yeah, I don't know about cutting. That would be actually insane, too. I couldn't justify that.
I would not sit millions of dollars on my bench. I have no idea. That's why I'm so confused with this team. I have no idea what the hell they're doing right now. I'm sure the owner is trying to drown himself as we speak.
Yeah, I'm about to say at this point, sell the team and let someone else figure it out.
Sell the team. Weren't we saying that for the past 400 years? The Lions. Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah, well, Sheila Hamp took over, so she's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Ethan just made an excellent point. They did it with D-Hop, see? They did just drop his ass and cost millions of dollars for no reason. That's why I'm saying maybe they do that with Kyler too. So, yeah, we'll see, man. This will be an interesting one. God, I used to be I actually used to be a Kyler Murray fan too. That's why this hurts me so much to be so against them. All right, so the Rams. God, man. My only thing with this team is this defense is so fucking bad. That's my only thing, man. I wish this defense wasn't this bad. This offense could probably get them to a goddamn Super Bowl or not Super Bowl, sorry. That was wrong word. Playoff if this defense was just better. Oh, man, I really like this offense. I mean, Matthew Stafford, if he gets hurt again, this team's nowhere. Same thing with, I guess we got to throw the injury-prone title on Cooper now. I still don't think he's injury-prone, but, oh, man.
Is he injured again?
No, he just keeps tweaking himself. I'm afraid that he's going to get hurt again, but for the most part, the Rams, they're not going to do much this year. They could if Stafford gets hot, but I don't know. I don't see him getting more than 8 wins. I don't even think they get 8 wins. I just think this defense is bad.
Yeah, the defense is so bad that
I actually think the Cardinals' defense is better than this defense. That's how bad it is.
I don't know, maybe they'll have a Vikings thing like last year. I don't know.
Sean McVay is still a great coach. Oh, yeah, he is. He's going to have a lot of work cut out for him, though. I'll tell you this. If Sean McVay can get this team to squeak in the Super Bowl, he's a fucking god. I'll tell you that right now.
A Super Bowl? That would be insane. He'd be...
Did I say Super Bowl again? Sorry, I meant make playoffs. I keep saying Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't know why. But if they can sneak this team into the playoffs, I'll fucking pray. I'll start praying. I'll believe in God. That's how crazy it'll get me.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
I don't even want to talk about this next fucking trash can team.
Mid team. We'll just say that for the Rams. But all right. I know you have a strong affiliation with this next team. Did I just delete the fucking picture? God damn it. We all know who it is. It's the Seahawks. Take it away, Fish. What's your thoughts?
Fucking A. All right. Here's what we got to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, Gino's not your answer, guys. I'm sorry. He's not. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, I will say I'm wrong all day. If he comes out that same shit as last year, cool. I was wrong. That's fine. DK is not that fucking good. Please stop hyping him up. Tyler Lockett's better than DK. I like Tyler Lockett. He's a good receiver. The secondary has gotten better. I like the secondary. It's pretty good now. They got key pieces with Tariq and a whole bunch. They have what's his face is back. What's his name? Oh, I'm forgetting his name. Old ass linebacker.
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner's back. Like, this defense is looking much better. I don't know how the O-line looks. I don't know what they ranked last year or the D-line. I think the D-line's pretty solid. This team's not terrible. I just don't think Geno Smith is the fucking answer, bro. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. And they got what's-his-face. They got JSN, too. So, that team's like, the offense is looking good besides Geno. I like K9. I like K9 a lot. Don't know why they drafted another running back in the second round, but I like K9. It's just, is Eugene him? We're going to figure it out this year. If he is him, I was wrong. and it is what it is.
Daniel wants you to know that you didn't watch a single game this year and that he's 1-0 on games when the opposing person scores 45 plus. And then
What?
he wrote a paragraph, and I don't feel like reading that all. But yeah, that's a lot to read. I'm sorry, Daniel. But so, that's actually so funny. So all right. So my I guess my point of view is, I'm sorry. I guess I'm like completely backwards from what your opinion is on them, because I think
You're gonna be sorry.
this defense is pretty good, and I think so we'll put it like this: even if Geno Smith isn't their answer, it's another situation where you could put a fucking, I could be blind and all I have to do is throw it up and one of those three are catching it. That's how good I think that trio is. I really think all Geno has to fucking do is get the ball to somebody and at least one of them will catch it. I mean, Geno, I like Geno. I'm sorry, but I think he'll at least hit 4,000 yards again. I think
Oh my. Maybe.
even
I
if
could be wrong.
even if he does suck, let's say he throws 3,000 yards. I mean, and just sucks. A, they have Drew Lock, which, let's be honest, he's a very good backup. And B, again, you have three guys who I think are just really fucking good. That, like, it's this, the formula is just telling me that this offense, it doesn't matter. Like, you could put fucking Baker Mayfield here and you probably win 8 games at least. That's how, like,
Yeah, like I said, I like the team. Like I never said I didn't like the defense. I never said it was bad. I never said it was
Right.
great. I think it's a pretty solid to average, like a little bit above average defense. I don't know how the O line is. I had to ask Daniel about that. I have no idea about what that O line is about.
he said something in there. I just don't feel like reading it all.
But yeah, and I like K9. Right?
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of broke up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Said who's their tight end? No Font, right?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
You should have seen him as a rookie.
And after watching Drew Lock, after watching preseason, he was pretty fucking solid too. So I liked him in that preseason game. So I don't know, probably around 11 wins as well. I just don't. I think they get swept by the 49ers. I think they'll sweep the Rams, and I think they'll definitely sweep the Cardinals. They're in an easy division, honestly.
Yeah, those two teams are.
Besides the 49ers.
Yeah. I think they win at least 9 or 10. I wouldn't say 11, but Memphis dying. Yeah, your mic is kind of cutting out. You must have hit a patch. But yeah, for the most part, this is a solid team. I like it. Daniel, you think we have the division? No. At 1, I have 49ers. I actually think this team's winning the Super Bowl if they figure out their quarterback, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is probably the best team in football, in my opinion. I love the 49ers. As much as I don't like the 49ers, I'm actually like, if we were to rank teams based on how much I like, the 49ers would probably be near the bottom. I've just never rooted for this team, but I just really like this team, man. This is such a good, solid franchise right now. It's so hard to be like against this team. I mean, I don't have anything else to say. Literally, the only fucking thing is this quarterback situation they got going on. I mean, I'm praying someone finally fucking does good because, come on, man. I mean, you got Deebo Samuel, probably the craziest person you can have on an offense. You do not know how to. Some teams don't know how to scheme this guy. I'm sorry, they just don't. But God, I love this fucking team. It's such a good. This is the type of team I would like to coach. You can just do so much with it.
Yeah, this 49ers team is the definition of stacked. They have I think they have 13, 14 Pro Bowlers last season, which is fucking insane. That defense is there's a Pro Bowler in every single fucking position, dude. It's ridiculous. That defense is the number one defense. I don't care what no one says. It's not arguable. They're the number one defense. they're also in a kind of weak division. Like, yeah, Seattle's decent, like good, but like I said, the other two are fucking dog shit. If they, if say Brock Purdy starts and he played like he did last year, this team should be a 15-win team. They should go 15-2 at like
Damn.
like as their honestly their ceiling might be 16-1 as a floor 13-4.
I think they get
Well,
like 12. I think that's kind of yeah. It's hard. It's very hard for me to say a team will get over 13 wins just because we all know how NFL works. This team could fucking lose to the goddamn Cardinals. That's football. Weird shit happens. Who knows?
Right.
But I mean, yeah, like ceiling wise, I think, and I guess I'm very on the opposite of the opinion of the comments on this one, but it's fine. I mean, I stand with what I say, and I definitely think this team is. I think this team's a very fucking solid team right now. It's when you can prove that you can take the goddamn last pick in the draft and go 8-0 when he's your starter. I think that's saying a lot. That's just what I'm gonna, I'll quote off of.
Right.
But
obviously,
no, you can go for it. I was gonna move on.
I said obviously we don't know the quarterback situation and we don't know if they're going to be good. But what to say, for example, they are good. This team should have the best record in NFL.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right. So this will be fun. So, I have my top sevens for both the conferences, and I definitely want to move quickly through these ones because we've been talking for 2.5 hours. So, we'll go with my AFC top 7 and see where everyone else is kind of with, I guess. So, I mean, for the most part, I think at least 75 to 80% of this, a lot of people can agree with. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I'll base this off of what your thoughts are, at least.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty solid here. Like, this is pretty much what it should look like. I think you could argue between the Jets, not the Jets, the Bills seeding and the Jags seeding,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe the Jets winning division, so again, the number like 2 or 3 spot. You could argue the seeding between the Chiefs and the Chargers. I mean, but all in all 70 teams should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, the only team I really think that could make a jump is the Ravens. Obviously, when we were talking about the Ravens and Browns, it all depends on Lamar. But other than that, I don't. Oh, scroll that back down. It's hard for me, man. I mean, the Dolphins should too, but it'll be that 7th seed in my opinion. That will be like right there. It'll be either those Browns, or those Ravens, or those Dolphins. I think the Browns just hold out one win. It'll literally be that close. But for the most part, I think the Chargers will kind of be an easy lock. The Jets, I find it hard to believe they don't make it. And yeah, placements could be a little different, but I think the Bills will just do the same thing they usually do and just dominate here. Jaguars, I definitely think are going to do really well. And then the Bengals will do really well. And I think the Chiefs will just regress a little bit, but they'll still be at the top. So, yeah, that's where I'm kind of at here. If anything, my crazy pick is obviously the Browns here. I think everyone else is kind of respectable in this one.
I don't think the Browns are even that crazy. Like, looking at paper-wise.
True. It's just hard that there's the Dolphins as well in this division, or this side. But all right, so we move on to here. This is actually insanely different than when I first did it. I actually had like 4 different teams here, so that's how like unsure I am still of this side. I absolutely have no idea what the fuck's gonna go on here. I'm actually still not certain if this is my 100% on this side. That's how much I have no idea what I want to do with this side. But for the most part, I think the 4 that win their divisions, except Dallas, I think will be at their top. I think 2 and 5 will just flip flop if not. But outside of that, where a lot of my movement has been is the 6th and 7th seed. Can I not move this? Oh, here we go. I had fucking Rams kind of in the category, and I had Washington and Giants in the category for a minute. I had to take my biasness out for the Washington Commanders because I think they just need one more year and then they'll be playoff relevant. And same thing with the Giants. It's up to the Giants honestly because the Giants could take out the Vikings. I think the Seahawks make it in at least 7th though, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle could make it in. It depends on. Well, I guess Seattle should make it in, right? They should. It'll probably be 6. Like for me, I'd probably move Vikings down to 7. And Vikings could be on the bubble with like the Giants or the Commanders, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
And like I said, I'd rather have the Bears over the Vikings, but this is your list, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see Bears could fight. It really depends if Justin Fields has got his shit together. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, everyone can make fun of me. I really don't give a fuck. But this is my playoffs picture. I've actually been the past 2 years I've done this, I've picked the winner both years in a row now. So, I'm on a very good hot streak with that. I will admit my playoff picture usually isn't the best, but I have picked the winner the past 2 years. So, I will stand on that high horse for a while until I'm dethroned. But let's show the show. Go ahead and speak before I click it.
This is wild. Chat. I'm gonna let you guys know. I don't agree with this. This is wild.
Yeah, so I have a very wild playoff prediction, but again, my pictures usually aren't that good. I do my best to be biased actually when I do the playoff picture. So this is a very biased playoff picture, but I usually get the Super Bowl correct. So obviously this is where all the seeding went. Obviously crazy things we can look at. I guess a crazy thing is the Chiefs losing right away. We'll start with them. That is crazy, obviously, just because the Chiefs never fucking lose right away. But I think if this exact seeding happens, I think the Chargers pull an upset there. But, for the most part, I think the first rounds are pretty good. Other than that, I definitely think I have some biasness in the Cowboys losing to the Lions. But, I think it could happen. I think an upset could happen there. And the Eagles losing to the 49ers, I think, is something that people would consider kind of wild, but I think that could happen too. I really want the Jaguars to beat the Bengals here, but I'm very on the Bengals winning this season just because a lot of those main pieces are going to start leaving next year for this team. So I think they're in a literal, we have to win now type environment. Because I think Jaguars are next year's, Super Bowl contenders. I think this year it's the Bengals, but I definitely want to hear what Fish has to say about not just mine, but his thoughts overall.
First things first with the Chiefs thing, I could see that happening, realistically. That's actually possible. Will it happen? I don't know. Obviously, I can't tell the future, but I think that's not a bad take to have, especially with, like I told you, for me personally, I'm high in OC there. Bengals, Jets, that's going to happen.
Oh.
Bengals, Bengals should fucking win the AFC side without a doubt. Lions should lose to the Cowboys, bro. I don't care, especially, we're going to be at Cowboys, too, because they have a higher seeding. We're in Jerry's world, and we're assuming if they won that division, Dak's going to be on fire, dude. I don't think our defense is going to hold that offense. It'll be a shootout somewhat, but I still think they'll edge us out. 49ers, Eagles. That's a tough one. Depends on that quarterback situation per usual. All in all, it's not bad. The only, the worst thing I've seen here is the Lions beating the Cowboys. That's it.
That's fine.
That's honestly not
I know that Dak hasn't had the best record for playoffs. And that Jared Goff obviously has been to a Super Bowl. So I think there is a
yeah.
decent shot. Again, it really depends how good the Lions are doing, but again, I'm a Lions fan and I get to do what I want, so I'll put them there. Regardless,
Yeah,
I think the top two that I think go to the Super Bowl are the two teams that get to the Super Bowl this year. That is without a doubt. I don't think with any other combination, I don't think these two don't end up here. But that's just me.
right. I think this is what it looks like to me. I do have the Bengals and 49ers going to the Super Bowl, and I do have the Bengals also winning. So we're pretty head on there.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think it's finally Burrow's time. That's just where I'm at. I mean, in retrospect, if this scenario happens, I also think the Bengals have one of the fucking hardest trains to the Super Bowl. I mean, when you have to play T-Law, Rodgers, Allen, and fucking the 49ers as a whole, I mean, that's a goddamn ferocious way to the Super Bowl, but I mean, I think the Bengals can get it done. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's my team this year. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Those are my predictions. Seems like we had some agreements and disagreements. Anything you want to say before we start getting to the closing here?
nah, man. I mean, I think we did pretty well. I mean, I couldn't help much with college, but I think it was pretty solid.
That's
solid
fine.
time. Had fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so moving forward, I obviously want to start doing this a little more weekly. This will not be as long as this one will. This was a long one, and I already knew it was going to be long because there was a lot of content that had to be spoken into one. But next week, what I'm planning on is focusing more on what we're going to see specifically with the players moving forward, which means we're going to talk a lot more about fantasy. That's where I primarily am data driven in, is the fantasy world. So I'm going to give a lot of my insight and where I think players could, where players I think will do well. I don't like to bash players because I'm in the athlete developmental universe, so I don't like to bash on players, but I will speak highly on the ones I like. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Where are we at? We're at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Wow, that was a long little podcast we just did. So, yeah, we will leave it with that. Definitely subscribe if you're not. Like if you haven't. We're definitely going to be doing this more often, weekly, hopefully. I want it Mondays because I want to be able to recap the week and I want to be able to give my advice for the future. So, yeah. Fish, thank you for being on. I look forward to doing this next week.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Y'all take it easy now. We'll be back.